I'm Shua, and you are listening to Light Up with Shua, a weekly podcast to open our hearts and minds on a journey with me. Assalamu alaikum and greetings, Dilara.
Walaikum assalam. May God's peace be with you as well.
Thank you. Could you tell me who you are and what do you do?
Sure.
Please.
My name is Dr. Dilara Sayeed, and I wear a couple of different scarves right now. First, I am a tech founder. I have founded I'm an educator, so I started a tech company that allows people to match, meet, and mentor online for professional mentoring. So it's you keep your 1,000 LinkedIn connections, but you go deep with two people for mentoring and to change your trajectory. Okay. And secondly, I have tossed my scarf into the ring for candidacy. I'm running for Illinois State Representative of the 5th District. So it's the district that I live in. It's a slice of America with all different kinds of race, creeds, class, and gender issues. And it's a fascinating journey.
Wow. So how did you decide to come into this political realm?
Yeah, actually, nothing in my past would have predicted that I would be running for office. And I think people are hearing that a lot from first-time candidates in this election cycle. So when you ask what were the motivations, I would say, number one, I've been an educator. I myself was a Head Start preschool student for low-income children. My family was a low-income family in Chicago. And, education was our way out, our way towards success, our way towards a middle-class life. And so I grew up and became a teacher. And I taught 5th grade and 8th grade. And throughout my entire time as a teacher, as an administrator, as a not-for-profit leader, I realized that a couple of things, but one was our education system was not meeting the needs of what our future should be in America. It was not producing skilled workers. It was not producing people who were ready for high-powered careers. We were not producing enough entrepreneurs and innovative thinkers. And I always thought, Illinois is actually one of the worst states in terms of funding. And so I always thought it was broken. I always thought there was more we could do. But, you work from the inside and you do the best you can. And then we elected this president who is hell-bent on hating and spreading and dividing us as a people. And what I realized is, wow, we have systems that need to improve. And in the meantime, we have this leader that is almost taking us backward. And this race, this seat, the Illinois State Representative seat, became an open seat in August. The woman who holds it now is running for another office, which means this is an open seat. And so this time, and over the years, people have said, hey, you should run for office. You know education, you know business, you should run for office. And I always said, hell no, excuse my language. I work behind the scenes. I work to help develop others' capacity. That's what educators do. That's what business people do. And this time, I didn't say that. I said, let's go. Let's do this. And I'm not anti-Trump, Shua. I am pro-American values. Yes. And I am for justice and equality and diversity. These are our American values. So let's remind people what we really are as Americans. Yes. Let's fix the education system. Let's get businesses started and going. But let's do it without dividing people and getting them to hate each other. Let's do it together. Let's show them what the United States really are.
Exactly. So how's the response for you, so far? What's going on in your community? Is it, other than your communities, are they supportive? What's your mission?
Yeah, so this candidacy has actually garnered a great deal of energy. You know, in the state of Illinois, we have about 500,000 American Muslims. And nobody that looks like you or me. Okay. In the state of Illinois, we have 500,000 South Asians, yet no South Asians in state government in Springfield and in elected office. And that isn't the reason why I am running, but it does beg the question, why don't we have more diverse voices in our elected offices? And so the voice I bring is actually the voice of an educator, the voice of someone who understands the education system from being a teacher, from being a parent, from being an administrator, and from being a system-level leader. So you understand how complex the system is and really look at it from all sides as we're going towards a solution. And the community has really embraced that, you know, to have a teacher finally as an elected official. We don't have enough of us who understand those components. To have a mother who has raised 3 children of color in a discriminatory community and world, right? But raise them to be strong and raise them to be who they are with confidence, I hope, inshallah, God willing. Those are the kinds of things that seem to excite people. And they're at first curious, you know, the scarf draws them in. And I wish I could say it wasn't true, but even in today's 2018 world, they're wondering things like, am I American? Do I speak English properly? Do I, you know, can my life resonate with theirs? Are there things we have in common? And then once they realize we do, you know, everything from I love, you know, Rocky Road ice cream to I love this movie to I love, you know, this music to I love reading the same books and doing the same things, we are in a whole different space. We've built a relationship. And so we're the first name on the ballot. There are 4 people on the ballot for this race. My name, Dilara Sayeed, is the first name on the ballot. We have raised, because unfortunately politics is about raising money as well, we have raised the strongest level of money. Our issues and our stances on issues are very detailed, very clear, and very strong. And we have a rock star team of, actually the team looks like a slice of America, right? Tall, short, black, brown, tan, white, wealthy, low income, working class, gay, straight. I mean, it's a team that's a years. We have dozens of volunteers. Nothing like this could happen without the volunteers, whether they're phone banking from across the city or country, or they're contributing, and we've had over 450 contributors to this campaign, or they're hosting a meet and greet and getting me out in the community and walking with me and talking to residents with me. A lot of great energy in this campaign, and I'm excited about it.
Wonderful. Good to know that. And I guess, so that's the effort you have to put to let them go beyond your look, and just one piece of cloth can make such a difference. One doesn't realize that. You know.
And in the end, the test is the voters, right? So in March, we will have our vote. March 20th is the primary election, and this race is based on the primary election. So it's very timely that we're talking, because we're really in the midst of all of this. And on March 20th, we will know if all of this energy and positivity really did translate into votes, or did people feel they weren't ready for this type of candidacy?
So
I don't know.
You are ready for any consequence, any result? You are ready for that, or you have some feeling or a gut feeling that I'm trying to?
So I have tried all my life to live with God consciousness, right? That He is with me every second of my life. Our Creator has a better plan for us than we know for ourselves. As I said when I started, nothing would have predicted that I would actually be running for office, so it must have been His plan. And so then whatever will happen on March 20th will be His plan. We will give our best effort, and then we will leave it in His hands.
Good. Thank you. So that brings me to a busy person who I'm wondering, with 3 children, now you have to tell me about, like, how do you balance your political, home, mother, all kinds of life, and this tech, that startup, it's a startup, right? It's a tech startup that you are conducting, and doing all that. Please talk about that. Like, I would like to know, how do you do that? So maybe we can learn from that. And, you're having so many scarves and hats, I guess. Yeah, it's fascinating.
And that's really a great question, and we all have to answer that differently. For some women, they're juggling it all at the same time, and they're doing the absolute best they can. For me, I'm juggling a lot, but not a lot at the same time. When you speak of my family, that is my number one priority. My faith and my family are my number one priority. And if anything was substituting for that or causing strife in that, that would be removed, not my faith and not my family, God willing. And so, but my children are older, so I'm doing this in terms of starting a tech startup and running for office. I'm doing this as a woman whose kids are in their late teens and 20s.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is the age range?
My kids are in their early 20s, and so that works. So yes, Yusuf and I got started early having children. We raised a family very early, but we are now done with the mothering and fathering part of parenting, and we are now working on the coaching and guiding part of parenting.
So you do. So that's very good. That's good. You're not there all the time to. Yeah, that's a good differentiation. I like that, the way you do it. Yeah.
And this phase will be the rest of our lives, right? You never stop becoming a mother, but you stop mothering. Yes. And so I'm now coaching and guiding, and this will be there for the rest of their lives and the rest of my life. And so then this allows me to continue doing the other work that I think I'm really called to, right? Okay. And really, in my life, that's the thread that has run through my career and my personal life. I feel that my mission in life, what my Creator has wanted me to do, whether it's personal or professional, is build others' capacity, serve others. And so I have served my family. I have raised them to be the best people that I can help them become. And in teaching, I taught 5th grade and 8th grade. I have given my all to my students and the curriculum and helped them as learners to be curious about the world and to want to be learning all the time. And now my vPeer, it's called vPeer.com, virtualpeer.com. And the concept of vPeer is that when we start a profession or while we're going through our professional careers, we need mentors around us. We need people who are our thought partners and thinking through a problem or collaborating on a solution or working through a work situation. And often the people who don't have that, research tells us, Shua, are people of low income, people of color, or women. And so, and the reason they don't have it because they don't know people like them that are higher up that will pull them up, or it's expensive to get coaching and leadership mentoring. So we developed a platform where you match with another person in your career and field. You meet virtually online, just like we're doing. It's a Zoom.com platform. And then you mentor each other. And you talk about your professional careers, your lives. You do this 15, 20 minutes every couple of weeks. And this becomes a long-term professional mentoring relationship. And what is that doing? Building your capacity to be better at what you do, right? And what is my candidacy? My candidacy is all about, as a community, solving problems, identifying issues and solving problems so we can help every resident in this city, in this state, in this nation, build a life. Wonderful. So there's a thread. Every one of us should find that thread that weaves the things you do all over the place together into one cohesive unit, then your life makes sense.
That's right. That's a good coaching. We already got some coaching from you. That's wonderful. So vPeer is the one which is your startup, right? That's the startup. Yeah. And it's so it is details people can find. I will put the link, and we can always find the details about it. So let me come back to now a little bit of parenting, focus on that. Tell me, how do you rate? It seems like you're a conscious parent from your talk, but do you find yourself that is it a recent phenomena for you, or you have been always a conscious parent? Any feedback from your children?
I often think about my parenting, right? Because we always think, like, did I do everything right? Oh my God, I should have done this, I should have done that. Yeah. The one thing I can say is there will be a moment in time I will stand in front of my Creator, and He will ask me, how did you do on this? And one of the things He will ask me about is, how did you parent? How good were you as a parent? And I will answer, I don't know if I was good. I don't know if I was good enough. But what I can tell you is every second of my life, I try to be the best parent that I could be to my children. The mistakes were endless, I am sure. But there wasn't a moment I can think of when I said, oh, it doesn't matter, or I don't care, or I'm not going to do this anymore. It just, I couldn't have that hopelessness. I couldn't have that giving up because I was responsible for 3 lives. And so, so that's how I would answer that question. I don't know if I was successful, but I never stopped giving 100%.
So do you get any feedback from your children? In some ways, and also how do you spend your time? Maybe that can show how successful you are or not.
So actually, the funny thing is, when I started this candidacy, that was a kind of a critical moment, a test, right? So Mama's going to run for office. What do you think? And my son, who recently started his job just about a year ago, took out his checkbook and he wrote the maximum check that someone can write for a political candidate in Illinois.
Oh, wow.
And
nice.
I did it, and I just was amazed and humble, and he said, this doesn't begin to pay you back, but I hope then you'll do this as an elected official for everybody else in the state. And my 2 daughters are part of the campaign as well. They are one of them is one of our social media coordinators, and the other one of them has been our canvasser and has, engaging the voters with me. So it's become a family affair. I didn't expect it. I didn't ask them because though everyone says it, they have their lives. This is a 24/7 thing to run for office. You can't expect your family
They volunteered to be part of this, or?
Oh, yeah, all volunteers. In fact, my husband told me I should run for office. So usually people have to ask their families, I'm thinking of running for office. What do you think? And in August, when this thing was open, the seat was open, Yusuf said, honey, I got to ask you something. You should really think about running for this office.
Wonderful. So you have full support from your family. Wonderful.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't think they think I'm perfect in any way.
No, well, I have to interview them. Now I have to have a conversation with them, right? Are you a traditional kind of a parent because you are from the Asian region? Do you describe or define yourself as an authoritarian parent, or were you strict and now that you thought that they're grown up, so I should just coach because I can't manage them anymore? Or is it like that's how you did it?
Yeah, a little bit of all of that, right? It depends. Every situation is different. Clearly, you and I and many of your viewers and podcast listeners are strong people. Our personalities are strong, so we can't just hide that. So if there's something happening and I have an opinion, advice, whatever, I will share it because I've learned sometimes the hard way. And, we all want to like say, oh, I learned that the hard way. Now don't make that same mistake. And sometimes they listen. And sometimes, you know what, they don't. And that's okay because they needed to learn it the hard way, just like we learned it the hard way. If you think of who I was at 22, thank God I'm not the same person. So everybody evolves, and my children will evolve, your children will evolve, all our community, friends, family, neighbors, sisters, brothers will evolve, and we give advice when we can, we give guidance when we can, and sometimes we just sit back and watch.
That's good. So it means you know how to distance yourself or just be, or take your hands off of not being too suffocating. Like generally okay, so what we do is like we tell our children like what to be even when they go to school, like you have to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I assume that you didn't do that, or are you inclined to do that?
I tried, and then they told me to back off.
Oh, so, and then you backed off.
Right? Like, it's a two-way relationship, right? Okay. So, like I said, it's not like I don't tell them what I think or give them the advice that I feel, but they're also strong people who came from a strong woman. They're going to do what they want to do. And they are not afraid to say, Mama, I get it, but I'm going to do this.
Do you differentiate all girls? I mean, they are with me, that's fine, but, you know how it is in Asian backgrounds, in cultures, we do pamper them quite a bit. We do protect them a lot, but sometimes in that process we end up overprotecting them and not equip them for the world.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that? What have you done, or what do you think should be done?
Remember, parenting for any animal, every creature on earth that parents, the goal is that the child is independent. Whether you're the mama bird, teaching them to fly, you're not with that baby bird all the time. So the goal of parenting is actually to equip them to become independent.
Good.
And sometimes we're fighting that because we have our cultural norms and we have our aspirations for our children, which are really aspirations for ourselves, right? But it does not help in the long run. We seem to forget, like, a life is long. And from 0 to age 20, we spend so much time and energy investing in our children. Yes. And then from age 20 moving onwards, that's actually the longer amount of our life that we'll be with our children. And that's usually the time where parents and children become alienated from each other, frustrated with each other, right? 0 to 18, 19, they need us. So we're with them, we're helping them, we're financially supporting them and everything. But the rest of their life, if we can't respect their independency, we will lose the relationship. And we see it all around us. People who don't talk to their kids who don't want to talk to their parents, they don't want to go on vacations or see each other, or it's a burden when they have to be around each other. I don't want that. I don't want to live that way with my children. I'm very young. They're very young. We probably, I hope, God willing, have a long life together. And I don't want to alienate them from me. So again, if we as parents are too controlling and too demanding, we do not live in a world where kids will manage that well.
Do you see this pattern that you were mentioning in certain communities, or do you find that as a common denominator in all kinds of communities or ethnicities?
Yeah, that's a great question. And as an educator, I've seen all different communities, right? So I've taught kids at age 13 and age 20 at college and different places. There's a component of that in every single community. But I think in Asian communities, because of some of our norms, like respect for elders, some of our norms, such as, respect for your parents above all else, we are able to be tighter of a hold on some of those things, right? Like some of those, because of those norms. I think what I see in the typical family in America that might be non-first generation, second generation Asian, or non-African American. The African American community is also very intergenerational, very respectful of elders, etc. The typical other families have come to realize that they don't have control. In fact, when they let them go to college, there's no assumption they'll come back and live at home after college. So there's a state of mind that parents have that after 18 or 19, my kid will probably never live with me, so then I have certain expectations I can't have. But with communities of color in general, Black, tan, brown, we don't have that. Like, kids might live with you at any given time. You might go live with your kids at any given time. So this intergenerational component is just a part of life. That is good. That I think is a beautiful way to live, but it's also more complex because then you all have to navigate the complexities of intergenerational life. So now I teach at the university level. I am a adjunct professor at Northwestern University, and I teach teacher leaders. So what I realized when I was teaching, I taught kindergarten and first grade for 4 years. Then I taught fifth grade for 5 years.
You covered the whole territory.
Then I taught eighth grade for 5 years. Literally, I love seeing the developmental growth of people, right? So I taught eighth grade for 5 years. And then we had the local university chairman of the department said, we'd like you to come and actually teach teachers and future teachers. So that's actually what I do right now. I teach teachers and principals how to do that work. But because we realize it's important to be a teacher of children, but it's important to know how to prepare teachers and principals to do this work well.
Wonderful. This is very, very, it's not very common. So you are kind of a teacher trainer, basically.
Yes, that's exactly right. Teacher developer, principal developer.
Excellent. And for all levels?
All levels, yes. All levels from preschool through 12th grade.
Wonderful.
And that's where some of the vPeer mentoring came out. I realized a lot of young educators going into the profession, then you're just thrown into the classroom and you need mentoring. And it's hard when everyone's busy to get mentoring. And so then this online mentoring became a really useful way to connect. We are also connecting teachers in America with teachers in India.
Oh, wonderful.
And teachers in Canada and teachers in England, so that they're talking about cultural competency. How do you understand students of all backgrounds?
So would you be open to other countries as well if we ask you?
Yeah. So when you go on vPeer, the fields that we've opened it to right now are education, healthcare, and leadership. So if there are any of those three areas that you're interested in, then you can go and find a mentor in those areas.
Excellent. Wonderful. Yeah, I think you're doing this great work, Dilara. I'm really very happy to know that. I mean, it's very hopeful. The work you are doing, and you are coming to the candidacy is also very hopeful. So I can't wait to interview you again after the 20th of March. Thank you for staying with me through this exciting episode. Please don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode of Light Up with Shua.